Hey to the A, and today we're playing some more StarRupture. Now, I've been playing a little bit today already, not streaming that, by the way. Mostly doing a bit of busy work. I'll show you that in a moment, but if I'm not mistaken, I kind of left off in the middle of something. Because I was exploring. And I was about to do this thing actually. Speaking of exploring, so you can I kind of like that you can see where you've been. So what I've done is I went some more exploring over here, then I went all the way here, over here.
The climate of Arcadia is returning to normal.
Are you done talking? Great. Then over here and then over here. Now I actually don't. Oh, and this is why I stopped exploring while the planet was recalibrating, because honestly, when you do that, you get into this problem. You have enemies spawning all around you right after the planet comes back. Okay. Oh man, and there's a lot of them. Okay. Well, it's a good way to kind of show you my new farming tactic, because I've been doing this. Just standing on my little... okay. Trying to stand on my little pillar over here. Which makes it a lot harder for the enemy to actually reach you, as you can tell. They jump, but they are not that awesome at jumping. And every now and then they just freeze and you can just pick them off one by one. Now that was a pretty significant wave we took down there. And I think that was it. Okay, so worth saving. I've learned to start saving every time I activate one of these geo sensors, because yeah, things can get hectic. Now I could build a base, but honestly, if you do it like this, and you just have your little pillar going, then usually that is actually enough. Depends a little bit on if you can see the enemies spawning early enough. Because if you can, like this, and if you shoot better than I do, you can kind of pick them off from afar already.
Reloading.
Honestly, my main concern are these guys over here. Because they take out your shield, which is really annoying. Hello. Okay, back to the shotgun. Ow. Okay, let's retreat a moment, because I do need my shield. We might lose this thing now. Okay, focusing up for a moment. Sorry, guys. Leave that thing alone. I need that one. Okay, we have it. Now all I need to do is not die. Which, to be fair, is not entirely trivial. Okay, shield is coming back. That is good.
Reloading.
Okay, I think that was mostly it. There's a couple of these. So there you go. Okay. according to the music, there are still enemies. Oh, there we go. Just one staring me down and another one over here.
Changing mags.
So many enemies. So the thing is, we might actually have had enemies spawning in because I went out from my safe zones by the just while the rupture was still happening, or you know, the after effects of the rupture. I like that this is corrupted, even though it's fine. Okay. But yeah, there's no bases here apparently. You can see the side of this giant machine here, by the way. And we are gonna go in that direction because I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a base there. Now, because we cleared out a whole bunch of stuff, let me place down a base core. As I said in the last few streams, ooh, there's a giant base over there actually. Not sure if we can reach it. I don't think we can reach that base. It seems that the irradiation is in between. So the main reason I'm exploring, by the way, is I still need 2 more blueprints. And yeah, I refuse to look things up. I want to do the, you know, the unspoiled experience, because that's how most people should probably be playing this.
Changing mags.
Yeah, I highly doubt we'll be able to reach whatever that is, but let's check and make sure. Oh, I'm actually next to a base over here. Ooh, hello. Anyone else?
Changing mags.
I see you. I see you. You might have noticed, by the way, that I have a way more health than I used to have. Way more shield as well. I found a couple of lamps. I think I have 2 of lamps now that I think one increases my shield by 30 and one by 20 or something like that. Having 100 shield makes fighting a lot more convenient, I have to say. How am I doing on meteorites? I still have 4 of them, okay.
Goliath.
Goliath! Ooh, okay, hold on. I think we should be able to take on that Goliath as long as we don't have to fight everything else at the same time. Oh. It's charging me. To get it out in the open, step 1. And just park ourselves below it. Yes. And there we go. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Goliath down, and I got the shot on the street, so that was nice. I actually didn't find a Goliath the entire afternoon while I was doing all the other exploring, so this better be worth it. Okay, heart rate about 180, but yeah. Goliath down.
Reloading.
Just to remain, okay. So, can I... Oh, it's forbidden by the corporations? I'm gonna place it down here. Hopefully that will keep a lot of enemies from spawning there. Now the only problem with placing it like that is that it might also attract enemies. If there are already enemies somewhere in the neighborhood. Hopefully we attracted most of them by now, and that should be it. Nope.
Changing mags.
The nice thing about the shotgun is that even though it reloads really slow, it does do quite a bit of damage, and you can kill most of the enemies with one shot. This is quite convenient if you want to, you know, make sure your ammo reaches the end point where you're trying to go. Okay. I was about to say no more enemies from this side, and then new enemies spawn, of course. Ah, bah. Fine. That's not one. Let's retreat for a moment. I guess we'll do this without a shield. Okay. We're done yet? I just want to get to that base, guys. Come on. And by the way, if you're in the chat, say hi. And tell me what you've been doing this entire weekend. Maybe it was playing StarRupture, but if it's something else, then let me know. I can always use suggestions for other good games. Now, let's see. I think this is the road in, right? So that is there. Okay. Let's make sure we're at full HP before we do that. Also, let's save the game. I'm a chicken, I know, but there's no reason not to save. Losing all that progress and having to kill all those enemies again would be kind of painful. Now the downside of this is I can build my platforms in here. Might not be needed. Because I can actually quite nicely snipe. Oh, hello. Where did you come from?
Reloading.
Let me double check this, because if this gets corrupted, I am in a big amount of trouble. Nope, doesn't look like it. Slowly advancing is usually the key. And the nice thing is, because I have this tower here, most likely, not entirely sure, but most likely most of these enemies won't respawn. This is a giant base, by the way. So there better be something of value in there. Oh, look at that. It actually goes all the way up there. Well, I took out the Goliath in front of it. Let's hope there's not another one in here.
Changing mags.
It's impressive how bad I am at shooting. Although in my defense, you do seem to do more damage if you attack them from
Reloading.
the front.
Changing mags. Reloading.
Pretty sure there was something else moving down there. Yep, there we go. Okay.
Ha!
Oh, by the way, I switched back to the engineer. Still the best voice actor, I think, among the bunch. I tried the biologist for a little while. Yeah, it was okay. Really did not like the scientist. He actively started to annoy me. It's the auto save, sorry about the jump. Okay, so. Usually these buildings. Okay, I can't get in there. Other side maybe? Nope. This is one of those buildings where we need to go in through the roof. Oh, there's clearly stuff in there. That's I guess we need a key. Regenerative capabilities of the blood fern. Yeah, okay. That is not a key. I need a key. Is there something in my inventory I can get rid of? Honestly, probably both of these things. Might as well eat. Is there any other buildings that I skipped in here?
Do you really need that much energy just to study plants?
What's the problem? Isn't that why you're here?
It's just that all this energy attracts a lot of aliens.
Then increase security. You're bothering me for this? That's your job.
Security's fine. We're just using up a lot of ammunition, which is costing our company a lot of money.
That's interesting. Because new sleeves for your people also cost a lot of money. Don't bother me with nonsense.
It's not nonsense. We're trying to optimize the mission.
From what I've heard, you didn't come here to optimize. You're here to ensure we have the right working conditions. Logistics, energy, and security. Do I need to talk to your superiors about your complaining?
You don't have access to my superiors.
I don't. But my superiors do. And who's got more money riding on this?
Oh, great.
I didn't come here to fight. You don't have to get all up in arms about it.
You're pulling me away from my research. Come back when...
Did that just cut off intentionally or not? Where are you going? Is he going to go all the way around? I have a feeling. Yep. Now the real question is he gonna chase me over here as well? I mean, that guy is. Is the Goliath still here? Ooh. Oh man, there's so many enemies here. So you can
Reloading.
actually kill a Goliath from the front as well. I've done it. But it is extremely tedious. So I do not recommend that. Basically you need to
Changing
shoot him
mags.
exactly in his eyes. But yeah, as you can imagine, that is not easy. So I'm gonna... He's gonna go around, isn't he?
Reloading.
Oh, there's another one.
Changing mags.
I mean, if all the other ones are dead, I can probably take on the Goliath down there. But I'd rather not do that with all of them around. And remember, I cannot build turrets either while I'm doing this. Oh, hello. So I can hear them. I just can't see them.
Reloading.
So the Goliath just went away, right? That's how that works? So there's 2 buildings over there. I'm almost certain I'm gonna have to be in those buildings. This is one of the few things where I'm like, yeah, you might want to actually do this without Rupture going.
Changing mags.
Sure, I can't reach that far, to be honest. I really wish I knew where the Goliath was. I'm so gonna get myself killed if I go down there. Mostly because I don't really have a good way to exit that area either. I could approach it from a different angle though. It might honestly not be the worst idea. So let's go out the base. Kind of go around. And then approach it from the other side. Someone should probably start counting how many enemies I've killed just in this base alone. Leave me alone already. Oh. Literally with my back up against the wall, okay. Okay, I'm getting there.
Ugh, gross.
So the toxicity is supposed to go away. So not sure why it's not raining. I actually got rid of the plants that could cure that problem instantly. Maybe I should have kept a few on me. Oh man, there's like 1 billion of them down there as well. So again, this should make like a no spawn zone. That doesn't take care of anything that is already here though. So let's set up a little bit of a firing platform over there. And let's keep going, I suppose. The thing is, you can actually shoot them from afar without them triggering. Interestingly enough, sometimes you can trigger them by building a platform. As you can see, that's actually what's happening now.
Reloading.
Any of the others decide to join? I think so.
Was that all of them?
No, that definitely was not all of them. Because I can see more of them running down around there in the back. Nice thing, the blue ones die very easily.
Changing mags.
Okay. I'm getting there. Let's grab this asteroid while we're here. Because I am getting a low on meteorite. And let's see what we can do. Okay. There's another one over there. Let's grab that one as well. And yeah, I haven't forgotten about the base. I'm actually just trying to get there in such a way that I can defeat the enemies that we encounter along the way. However, at this rate, there might be a rupture before I can actually clear it. And then we'll just grab whatever is in there during the rupture, I guess. My whole trying to expand with these bases is pretty worthwhile for all the other areas, especially anywhere there's resources. But second half of that sentence. But the bases you don't want to revisit again anyway, assuming you clear them out the first time, of course. So unless you're building right next to them, it doesn't really... Oh, hello, so many people here. Okay. Lots of these ranged ones as well. Those are really annoying because they whittle down my shield. The other ones do as well, but these ones are a little harder to see, especially when they're hiding in the grass. Little buggers.
Changing mags.
Now these things don't actually have great aim, so they tend to miss about 50% of the time. Especially if you just keep moving a little bit. That makes shooting hard. Are we done yet? Feels like this is like really the end game zone though. Something is moving there. And there. As you can see, more enemies. That is kind of the direction we want to go in though. I don't mind clearing this out because this is actually kind of the way back as well. We'll have to push through there in order to get back to the main base. That's the thing. I'm just gonna keep spawning bases to make sure my way is as clear as possible. It's most noticeable that I littered all of these towers in the other area, by the way, because that is very easy to move around now. Even when you get close to some of the bases that are out there. Good. And we still need to go in that direction though.
Changing mags.
Anyone else? Well, the autosave for one. There you go. Oh man, there's even more over there. Can we kill that from here? That's one. That's two. I mean, I can actually reach them. Okay. I don't need to clear out every single enemy on the map, though. We know we need to get closer to there. So it's stray enemies like this that can corrupt your bases if you're not careful when you know there's a lot of enemies around. This is really annoying.
Changing mags.
And where's that shooting one? Behind me, there we go. Come here, you.
Looks good. Reloading.
You can see the power of the shield, by the way. Normally, when you got to 50, you would take normal damage. Now if it drops to 50, I'm just fine. Okay. Let's grab this one and then just place another base over here, and hopefully that will allow us to get back here in case we need it without ever seeing another enemy again. Let's take a peek around the corner here. Yeah, I was afraid of that. So many enemies down there as
Fire
well.
in the hole.
Oh, hello. Where are you?
That was close.
Literally close, yes. Oh, there's some base down there. Okay.
Reloading. Changing mags.
Well, we've got their attention. My experience with those smaller bases, like the one down there, is that there tends to be not much of interest down there. Now, of course, I don't know if that's gonna hold for this one. It's not really where I was planning to go, though. Hey, so... I'm gonna place this down here and see if that attracts any enemies. Doesn't look like it for the moment. Sometimes the the attraction, or whatever you want to call it, the fact that they go for those bases is a little slowed down though.
Reloading.
I mean, if they don't respawn, that's fine by me. Okay. Back to our main target again. I think this base should be relatively safe. Enemies don't tend to spawn close enough. If you actually clear out the area, even if they do respawn in the general area, they don't tend to spawn close enough to actually aggro. Sometimes they do though, which is really annoying, but yeah.
Good stuff.
What can you do? I've reached the point where my opinion is there's too many enemies in this game. At least in some areas there's just so much. The general exploring honestly wasn't that bad. I mean, you had like groups like this every now and then, sometimes slightly larger. Just not 20 of them in a row. You can still hear from the music that there's enemies close by. There we go.
Easy, WP, GG.
Anyone keeping count? Have I killed over 100 yet? I've definitely killed more than 100 in this general gameplay though. But we'll just keep placing down bases and making this area safe one platform at a time. Okay. So this is a no build area. If I place it down over here. Let's see if that draws any attention. I mean, if it doesn't, we should be good. We're kind of clearing out the entire area around the base, which hopefully also helps us make sure that there's no new enemies spawning inside the base. Doesn't always work like that though. I do need that. So let's drop this. Let's use one of this to clear the toxicity. Do we have any other of those mushrooms around?
Looks good.
Okay. Don't need a whole lot of those mushrooms, but if we're healing up and getting toxins in our system as a result of that, we might as well make sure that we heal that back up. I'm actually wondering, can I build another tower here? So I'm gonna remove that tower and move that tower closer to this hostile base. Reason for that is, again, hopefully then that means the enemy won't be respawning inside, and I'll actually place a secondary one down there as well. But yeah, if I can place this down like that, and then maybe this one like that. Let's see if there's any enemies that we can see moving into that one though. That's a little farther out than I've been. Looks okay for the moment. I generally try to avoid these bases getting corrupted because it's just a pain to clear again. Okay. Here we are again. I think we're on the other side now. So these buildings I don't think I've been into yet. We were in there, in the back. There is a lot more enemies where those came from. I can't build anything in here, right? Nope, I can't. Okay, that's a shame. We do have this now up and running. I just want to check. Can I build another one of those things? Probably not.
I'm detecting increased Ruptura activity.
Oh, well.
Prepare for a wave.
I guess we're going to clear out the base the easy way. Let's build a little habitat over here. And hide in our little hidey hole. Since this base is safe, we might as well make a save point here as well. I'll show you this in a second. Let's make an analyzing station, just because we can. We can clear out all of these artifacts, slash artifacts. Did I get a Goliath one? Yes, okay. I mean, that's 5,000, that's worth getting. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of data. And we'll just have to hide a little bit for the rupture to happen. Where's the sun? Okay, that's a mountain. I guess we don't get a nice view of the sun this time around. That's a shame. It's like right there around the corner. Oh yeah, right. That was what I was going to show you. I leveled up a little bit. We can make a large personnel storage now, a 42 slot container. Not sure what we need that for, but okay. And we have a new building unlocked, the compounder. I think this is the last building actually that we unlock. There's just a couple of levels left on this faction. I'm really low on this faction, by the way. It has new wind turbines, nothing essential I think for the progress, so we'll just pick that up as we go. Just a couple of levels to go on this one as well. So yeah, I think everyone goes to level 11, right? So just 2 levels on all of these and then 4 levels on this one.
Prepare for impact.
So what is it do you want? You want liquid helium, so that's the stuff we can make with the building we just unlocked.
Extreme temperature detected.
So I think I need a recipe for the turbine for sure. And then I think for the pump, I'm not entirely sure. I think one of these buildings we also need the recipe for. How am I doing on building materials, by the way? Ah, fine. Okay. Let's check the recipe in that case. So the compounder doesn't actually... Oh, we can click these things already. Compounder doesn't actually need blueprints. Okay. So we can make all of these things as long as we have everything else. We finished all of these recipes. And I pre-completed most of the other ones over here. So I put down all the stuff in here that we need, but I need the turbine blueprint and the... Oh, it's the electromagnetic coil, apparently, that we still need. The pump we can't make because we don't have turbines and we don't have valves. Okay. So let's hope we find some recipes in this base. Or that base. I haven't actually been there yet.
Planetary temperature returning to normal.
Okay, Banzai. Let's check out this base and let's just clear it out, hopefully, before the enemies spawn back in. That would be convenient. Can't actually tell where I'm going now. Pretty sure I needed to go down here somewhere. Yeah, there's buildings here at least. Let's check out this corpse.
I can use this.
Usually they don't have the most interesting stuff, but you know, you never know. too much interest in here. There's another door that's locked. Hello, autosave. Just double checking if I really can't get in here. It doesn't look like it. Oh, hold on. There's a second level. We might be able to sneak in this building after all. Okay, so let's see. Missed this ladder the first time around anyway. I'm just clicking the messages. Ooh, hello. Okay, I can't get through here, I don't think. Unless I'm missing something. Nope. So I guess no cheating my way around that door. So let's go into Slasher Central.
This area could use a trim.
Let's just drop some stuff. Making sure we're getting the valuable stuff out of here. Which this is not. Okay. How do we get up there? Getting really tired of all those locks.
This'll come in handy.
Did you see that?
I can use that.
Okay. So, there we go. Anything else in here? I don't think so. Okay. There is a new. I was about to say there's another level to this thing though.
This lock requires 3 separate keycards.
3. Okay.
It's locked again. It's not normal, Quinn. That every time I want to grab some biofilament, I need to go all the way to someone from Clever Robotics.
Technically, the warehouse is part of their base.
Yes, but half the stuff in there is ours. Can't we just open it?
I'll talk to Delaney. I don't care, but you know how they are. I doubt they'll go for it. They're probably afraid we'll go in and steal their super special secret data.
You got me. I've been planning for years to steal their most precious design. That piece of wire that the drones fly around on.
Now you're just being mean.
Whatever you say.
Too bad the research didn't amount to anything.
Anything else?
First keycard.
That's not the first one. Okay. So now we have 2. We need a 3 for that door, right? So I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that the third one is in the area that I was in initially. I think that's in that direction, right? I think that area is relatively safe. Let's check out this first. Oh man, this base is huge. Okay, there's another thing up there. I am so gonna die if all these enemies spawn around me now.
Hey, why'd you call me?
It's not gonna work.
What?
They saw through your
Second keycard.
research. The wheat isn't going to be fit for consumption. And isolating the particular gene responsible for growth isn't
Well,
going
that's
to be
3
possible.
of them, right?
Why not? It'll just take a little more time.
Breakthroughs like that don't happen overnight. They tested the samples. I don't know the details of the results, but isolating the gene isn't possible. The plant is already fighting back at that level. The information is broken up into different sequences.
That's impossible. Why would a plant need a mechanism like that? Evolution doesn't work that way.
Ramon, I don't know the details. I'm just telling you what I know from FHS.
Nonsense. I'll wait for the results.
They'll send them in about 2 weeks. I'm just saying what I found.
Okay. I don't remember. Did we clear this entire area out? Oh no, we had the door here. That was why. Oh, that's the third one.
That's all of them.
Did you try turning it off and on again?
That's not funny, Delaney. I can't do anything. It's as if something has completely overwritten our code. It's all gibberish.
Then
I'm
just restore the
so gonna
backup.
die. I have a feeling the enemies are going to respawn any second now, even though I have all the 3 key cards. But I do need to get
I
into
know
that
what I'm
central
doing.
base.
That didn't work either. The code's being overwritten in real time.
You think it's them?
I thought so too at first, but no. Access to the system is only possible from our base. Besides, they'd die too. The cloning module is on their end. But to use it, at least one of them would have to survive. Turning off all of the turrets is basically suicide.
I wasn't talking about FHS.
Then who? Oh, you think? No. No, they're just animals.
They don't behave like animals to me. They're a weapon. Whose weapon? I don't know. But that's how we should look at them.
That's frightening.
Lock yourself in here, and don't let anybody in. The others are on it too.
Where was that door? This is the... oh, here. There we go. There we go. I can actually see where I'm going. Oh, hello there. The valve, we already had that one. Turbine, yes. Oh, and the coil is here as well. That's convenient. Hardening agents, I think we already had that. That's okay.
He was saving his son, I get it. But still.
Okay. Let's get out of here. Because this area is getting way too green for my taste. Which means the enemies are about to come back. And the real question is, how do I actually get out of here? I mean, I got in this way. No? Really? If I die here because I got stuck on the terrain, that's gonna be,
Ruptura status stable. Arcadia status stable.
I mean, I got out of here before. I guess I just need to go all the way up. Yeah, I can hear the enemies already. Just pretend like I'm not here, guys. I'm gonna do the same with you. This might be the way out. Too bad, okay. And then now we can go our way back. Hey, Felixa and Gug. How do you pronounce that? I'm gonna with Alex. I do have a base. My base is over here on the other side of the map. We're actually gonna go back to my base now. Because this base over here, I never want to see again. Oh man. We killed so many enemies in there. This is not the base, by the way. This is just a little hidey hole that I had to survive the rupture. Okay, where do we need to go? I mean, I have all the blueprints I need. I don't really feel a need to check out that last base over here. So, let's just go straight back. Which means
Arcadia 7 has finished regenerating.
Which means we need to go in front of this huge thing over here on the map. Just pass right through here. We can actually clear out those bases that are left unprotected as well. And then we can do some actual factory building. You can see there's no enemies here. That's because we killed them before the rupture, but they should not be respawning now anymore either. Let's just keep placing a couple of these bases just in case we do need to go back here. How many now meteorites? Just 2 of them. So let's go grab another one. Sometimes you get actually 2 meteorites out of 1 meteor. It also feels like if you don't have any meteorite, you actually get 2. That might actually be worth testing, because that is true, that is a lot easier to farm. Not necessarily the most foolproof way to farm, I guess. So you see this big blue cloud here? That is because one of my bases is already over there and it is corrupted.
Come to mama.
So, yeah, let's... I was about to say, let's see what happens if we do fill up our inventory. But I kind of don't want to do that, because that's just going to clutter everything. I do want to grab a couple of these mushrooms, because we can make sure we can get rid of toxicity that way. There we go. Now, I do have to say, I'm pretty proud of the fact that I cleared a huge part of the map without dying. The music suggests to me that I'm under attack. And these creatures also suggest to me that I'm under attack. Was that all of them?
Changing mags.
Okay, so there's my corrupted base. Hello, you can die. Once we go into that cloud, I won't have my shield anymore, so that's gonna be a bit annoying. And what doesn't help is that there's 2 of these corrupted ones over there, actually. Because that was before I knew how to expand in a bit more careful way. I was like, oh, you can just expand during the rupture and then nothing will spawn. Yeah, that's not how that works. Unfortunately. I'm grabbing a couple of these once more. We need the meteorites to restore, well, build more of those bases. And considering I have, I don't know, dozens of these things already, you can kind of figure out how many of these mech storage I've built so far. This one is in a really annoying position, actually. It's all the way up there. So we need to clear out both of them anyway. Let's start with this one. So say goodbye to the shield. So, in order to clear down this base, we need to get rid of that infection that you just saw, the blue thingy on it, and then, there we go. Now this base is ours again. Then we should be fine. I actually did activate that thing, so that's good. Now let's do the same with this one over here. Usually there are only a couple of enemies around it, so seems to be the case now as well. Okay, that was the infection on it. We can clear the infection apparently by typing on our arm. There we go. Okay, so that is now neatly cleared out. Let's head back home, which is in this direction. Either this direction or that direction. But yeah. Actually, I want to see if I can get inside of that building as well. I haven't really seen a clear, door or something like that. But last time I was here, I was kind of panicking, so I was under attack by so many enemies at the time. So let's see if we can do a bit better. Now we're a little bit more level-headed. We have some better ammunition. We actually have ammunition, because I think that was the problem I had last time. Oh, hello. Might as well use the grenade while we have it.
Changing mags. Reloading.
Okay. And as always, if you have a fight and you've defeated all your enemies, place down the tower, so hopefully you will never have to do that fight again. Or some version of it. Okay.
My head's spinning.
Interesting. Anything else I need to do? Well, actually, yes. I need to eat a little bit. I also need some HP. There we go.
Gross.
Stop complaining. You need to eat, right? So. There's an asteroid lodged in there, actually. That's interesting. Oh, hey, that looks like a door. Maybe. There. This is StarRupture, the shooter edition, apparently. Actually, that looks like a giant fan. Oh, maybe with a door? No? Oh, hold on.
I can't help you right now. Just wait.
I bet the batteries come loose.
Jimmy, all systems are going haywire and you're not a licensed electrician. Just wait and don't touch anything.
It's fine. It has to be the battery.
Jimmy? Jimmy!
Jimmy? Jimmy! Okay, so this is definitely a door. It also has no power.
A battery. I'll need it to open the door.
Oh, I think I can actually make power cells. I can't make them here. I do have, I think, the recipe unlocked actually. I can't build them here. Oh, look, there's enemies in there though. I don't feel like fighting them again, because we don't need anything from down there. We already cleared that out. So if I go down there, then I might be able to go around without having to fight all the enemies. And we have plenty of factory to build. And now we have all the blueprints. So yeah, let's go and focus on that. There's some enemies here I might have to fight though. Didn't you just reload? What were you doing when you reloaded last time? Yeah, come on. Okay. Now, like I said, if you can build... No, you can't. Okay, never mind. We might have to do that again once we come back for the door with some batteries, but for now, I think that's enough fighting. Are we still on track? Yeah, we are now heading towards one of my safe bases, so... Should be okay. Now what we really need is some way to move around faster. I vaguely remember someone told me there were gonna be teleporters that we unlock. I think I actually saw the unlock. Hold on. Did we actually unlock the teleporters? I don't think so. We have soap. That's not what I wanted to click. We have the compounder, which we probably need to add to the recipes. No, I don't think we have the teleporters. So basically, I just explored the entire map. And I might then unlock the teleporters? That's a bit of a shame. Anyway, look. Another safe base. No enemies here, even though I fought enemies here before. That's the way we like it. Okay. How are we on meteorite? We have 4, so I'm gonna skip looting all of that stuff. Let me reorient. Yeah, straight ahead, basically. Did that thing just change shape? Also, why are you red hot? I don't know, that seems a little bit buggy. So let's make our way to the main base, and yeah, look, my factory, or at least part of my factory. Right over there. We're probably gonna have to run to this particular place a few times, because this is where I have my helium production. I did actually set up a secondary helium production somewhere as well. Oh, that might have been all the way up there, actually. Maybe not the most convenient place to do that. Anyway. Then we'll just use this one. This one is all or good to go. There was one of the factions that we could level up using just pressurized helium, and we did that. So now we might be able to use the helium for something else. Yes, there is too much walking in this game. But we're almost there. This still isn't quite it. This is just a small secondary helium facility. Actually, this was the primary one, I guess. It just makes the cheap helium. But if you want to know what an actual factory looks like in this game, then all you need to do is wait until I reach the end of that little ridge over there. Because beyond that is my glorious factory. Okie dokie. So let's run up. We're probably pretty close to a rupture. I have a feeling. And okay. Look at this, people. That is pretty awesome. We have a factory over there. We actually have a factory over the back, there in the back as well. We have another one over here. Oh, and by the way, if you're following me for the past week or so, I actually built 2 factories off stream. So well, actually, let me get a bit closer. Those factories are very simple or very basic. Just in case you're feeling like, what did I miss? Well, if you're just joining in, because I just noticed that there's quite a few people that join in. I just got the last 2 blueprints that we need. I think we have all the blueprints in the game now, and that blueprint came all the way from over there. Both of those blueprints actually came from over there. But yeah, what I did during... Ooh, I actually am above the heat level. Let's fix that before I forget that. Let's have a nice little tiered eco. Actually doesn't look too bad. There we go. Okay, anyway, sorry. What I was trying to say was... I'm making some iron rods here. Titanium rods, sorry. Mostly because that was a bottleneck for my production. And I'm making some wolfram powder in that facility down there. That's all I'm doing. I'm exporting it using these export platforms. And that was all I did. I think that was all I did in terms of factory building while I wasn't on stream. But I was basically looking at the production lines and what was not working, what wasn't. And yeah, that was the main bottleneck. Now you can see all of these yellow lights mean that these facilities are mostly backed up. There's a surprising amount of resources still flowing through here, so I'm still producing stuff. Even though I haven't been here in this factory for quite a while. So that does tell you a little bit on how resource hungry the late game items are. Low autosave, yeah. But yeah, I think we need a plan. And in order to make that plan, I need to visit my mini home base over there. I'm gonna clear up some inventory space. I don't need my ammo while I'm in my main base. So it just makes everything a little easier to work with. So let's dump all our ammo. Okay. We can analyze some of the stuff we just got. So this is another
Useful information.
7,000. This is 20,000 points. Okay. Quite nice.
Interesting.
Okay. And that also clears things up quite nicely. Then we can put the bonds in there. Reduces damage dealt and received from friendly fire by 50%. In case you are running around with friends who can't aim, apparently. Okay. What was this? The respawn. Okay, so the stuff that you respawn with increased. Okay, that's interesting. Let's dump the ammo I don't need in here. What's this, an accumulator? Crafting material? Apparently I picked that up somewhere along the way. I don't think I can make accumulators, so... Might as well keep those on me, just in case we need them for something. And then let's dump the helium outside. I definitely don't need this in my inventory. Make sure we grab some building materials. So we can start producing those again elsewhere. And then the real question becomes... what are we making? Okay, so in order to decide that, let's go to here. Let's go to the Mega Press. Let's insert our blueprints. So now we have all of those unlocked. Oh man, we need quite a bit of resources to unlock some of this stuff, but you know, one thing at a time. So let's see. You need liquid helium. Can I make liquid helium? Let me double check. So I think we need to make that in the compounder. And this is a new building, so I actually don't know how this works. Apparently we can only make synthetic resin in here, so we would need to unlock the liquid helium, and we need hardening agent in order to do that, which I can't make yet. Well, I can make it, but I'm not making it, let's put it like that. You need turbines, which we can now make, but let me check. Turbines need what? Impellers, we have those in production. Stators, we have those in production. And rotors, we have all three of those things in production. So I could make turbines and start working my way to level 10 for this one. Let me see if there's any faction in particular that I need. So this is just more LEMs. Oh, this is actually going to unlock the assembler. Oh, there's like 8 new things in there. Okay. This is going to unlock what? This is just more power, but I don't think power is a problem. This is just more goodies. And this will get us the level 3 rails at level 11, so by that time we're kind of done already. So, I guess that answers my question. We are going to focus on this one first, because that is actually going to be something we need to produce maybe other stuff. And then we will focus on things like lenses, valves, and stuff like that. We can actually start working on this one, because we do have pressurized helium. Okay. Trying to decide where to start. We'll make the actually, hold on. This is how we can do this. We needed the impellers. Let me write this down. We needed the impellers. And we needed the... let me just check the recipe again. The mega press. I think it was going to make that stuff, right? So, we wanted to make turbines. We needed the impellers. We needed stators. And we need rotors. Oh, and we need acid. We need all of the things, apparently. Okay. We're making the impellers here. Somewhere. Okay, we can take out these things now. I'm kind of inclined to build it over here, but that's going to be a problem with some of these towers. So we should probably build a production line elsewhere. At this point, I'm probably going to I'm just going to expand my production lines every now and then to make sure I'm not too close to any other towers. Let's see. Are we stocking up the impellers? Yes, we are. Okay, that's good. Because that means we can put up a cargo dispatcher. Do that like this. And then from here, in here. So this will export the impeller. We also need stators, which we are producing somewhere over here. We're actually producing the acid over here as well. Still actively using that acid, though. We might need to increase our production for that. Refresh my memory. What do we need? Or we need chemicals or something like that. Yeah. Our chemical production is apparently the bottleneck, not the sulfur itself. Should we look into increasing the chemical production? I mean, obviously this is a bottleneck. Interestingly enough, for the chemicals themselves, the wolfram powder is the bottleneck. Which isn't weird, because this is actually asking for a whole bunch of wolfram powder, so even though I am importing that, I think, in quite large quantities at this point, we might just need more machines making this. Although, if you look at this one is low on synthetic silicon. This is going to be a case of we just need more of everything, I think. I'm just wondering, is this gonna run low before... It's interesting that... Is this a full belt? Yeah, it is a full belt. I was actually expecting a new belt to come in pretty quickly there. Let me just double check this wolfram powder facility. So I'm producing a lot of that stuff. And you're not exporting it, apparently. Why are you not working? I don't get it. Do we have multiple places that are called wolfram powder? I don't think so. Oh, we have wee powder and we have wolfram powder. So maybe it's sending it to the wrong place. mean, now it's definitely sending it, so that that location does want to receive the wolfram powder. So let me double check this then. Helium, plates. Okay, this is where that needed to go. Okay, I just set it to the wrong location. Oh, hello. Fine. So, what are we making? We are making the whatchamacallits, turbines. Now we should now have a little bit more chemical production, so let's see. We're gonna need to borrow some of this acid production over here. So we're going to be exporting that as well. So let's make another cargo. I'm in the way, apparently. I can actually hide that under here. Well, I mean, it sounds kind of efficient. Okay, so you can collect some sulfuric acid. So we have the acid, we have the impellers set up at least. Now we need rotors and stators, which should both be somewhere over here. That's applicators, it's inductors, stators. You are already dispatching that to somewhere. But nothing is stopping me from adding a secondary line to this. Okay. So this is that one, and then we have another one that we're going to set up over here, because these are the rotors. Okay. So that means I have all four things ready to set up and dispatch. Hold on, let me make sure I click this. Just so there's already items going in there. I mean, we have a pretty nice open area down there. So let's start building there, I suppose. It's near the helium anyway, so makes it convenient. Actually, I could build it over here, maybe. Let's see. I need the receivers. There we go. I want to make sure, so if I go over this line and back here, that is currently in the red, but it's not over the red yet, so that's fine. Let's make this like this. 1, 2, 3. Let's see, can we build some pillars? Kind of want to see if I can build next to there. That would look, make it look. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm done trying to not make them look like they're floating. I mean, you can't build too high up, but this time around I'm just gonna keep things simple. Okay. I am going to need some mega presses. Most importantly, I'm gonna need to connect 4 different things to that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hold on. That's not what I wanted to do. One level down. 2 levels down. I mean, to be honest, it might not even be worth making sure that you have separate lines for all of these stuff. Mostly because the throughput is probably going to be so low. I don't know. Let's find out. Let me double check what the throughput on this stuff is actually going to be, because I don't know. We are making turbines over here. So oh, it's just 1 every 6 seconds. That's slow. Very slow. But you know, patience is a win condition, so we can wait. That's not a problem. Let's keep building with cheap building materials whenever we can. We do need some power to get this stuff going, so maybe we can fit that in over here. It does take quite a bit of stuff though. Oh, just 20 actually, that's not that bad. Okay, I was just wondering because honestly if it takes up too much I might as well just, you know, play it safe. Play it cheap, I should probably say. Okay. This is going to receive the impellers. This is going to receive the stators 2, because this is the second one where we have that. And this is going to receive the rotors. I don't think we use those anywhere else. Getting the hiccups here. And then this is going to receive the asset, which is probably the second location where we're exporting that. Let's make sure we have the exporters up and running first, because that's gonna take up time. Here, right? Yeah. So you are going to connect to asset 2. There we go. This is not the one. This is the stator one. This is the second stator one.
Great.
Stators, stator 2. There we go. Let's just plug the stators right back in because, you know, I'm not sure why they just came out. Should probably do the same thing with the asset as well. There we go. Have another batch of 100. Stators, rotors, assets. So this is the rotors, yes. You are going, let's go all the way down the list and then plug that in, and there we go. I really wish you could send the surplus materials to the corporations.
Rupture activity detected. I recommend finding a safe place.
Yeah. We will do that in a second. But not before I set my impellers up to work. There we go. Let's make sure we build our little hidey hole before we die. Okay. And there we go. Okay. I kind of want to go and connect up some of these things. I hate it, wasting time. I also hate that oh, okay, never mind. Once the wave warning actually comes in, you don't want to be outside. Should be only like 20 seconds until the actual explosion happens. And there we go. How am I doing on building materials? Oh, pretty good. Yeah, to still have 3,600 of the advanced
core
stuff.
is unstable. Head to safety immediately.
Very angry clouds coming in.
Warning. The planet is being incinerated.
Actually, I wonder, is it a 1-to-1? Because I keep gaining levels during the rupture, so that's probably not 1-to-1. So you get a level for every day you survive. That would suggest I've been on this planet for 36 days, but I think it's been more. Could actually fill up a second slot. I am max level movement. At least for the current state of the early access. Not too surprising, given how much I moved around the map. Which reminds me, because we needed batteries, right? Power cells. You can make power cells from chemicals and electronics. Was this the power cell we needed to get through that door?
Temperature within acceptable parameters.
I don't remember. Anyone in the chat? Look back in the vaults on YouTube and tell me, was it the power cells I needed? Because I honestly don't remember. Okay. That was not the one I needed. I need a ladder, this ladder to be exact. Okay, let's get up here. And let's set this to produce what? Turbines, yes. Turbines. Turbines and more turbine. Oh, this was already set. Okay. Then we can start connecting things up. Let's connect you up like that. And then like that. Hold on, this is actually not going to work. Hold on. I'll have to do it like that, I think. Okay. And then we can take out... Ha. So, yeah. Actually, hold on. We can do it like this. I just need to be a little bit smarter on how I do this. Okay, this was this was a little stupid of me. Connecting this up straight away is not gonna work because the belt can't reach from this thing down to this level. So either I need to I can cheat a little bit. I could do it like this. I guess. Let me see if that works. So we're gonna remove these again. Can leave the vertical connections, that's fine. Then if I connect you here and you there, I can still do this. And then connect you up there. And connect you up here. And connect you up there. And keep going basically. And then you connect up here. And then we're kind of sneaking you in like that. Like so. Let's make sure we power everything up again. Apparently this power is enough, so we can keep it at that. Okay. Okay, this is working. So this goes into the secondary line. There. That's a lot of materials. And then we can sneak you under here. Sneak you through there. Yes. It's not the most elegant solution, but it's the most effective solution for sure. Initially I thought like maybe I should just build it through the back, but yeah, that doesn't sound like the best idea. I forgot to connect you up apparently, so let's do that. Oh, I guess the other one is full. Okay. I was like, why is there no materials moving in there? Okay. So that should fix that one, and then we do the same thing over here, basically. So we can actually go around, so this looks kind of neat as well. And then we just flip this thing around. And then we should see all of these things starting to produce. So now we can hook you up, connect you up, connect you up, and there we go. That's a whole bunch of turbine production. Let's make sure we connect that the correct way around. I think I already see some turbines in production. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we have turbines flowing in. So that is awesome. Okay. We also need to set up some orbital launchers because we are using these turbines to actually progress. Let's remove this ladder so we can take another one and place that down there. Okay, so this one, right? Yeah. 175 for each item, which is I think the most we've ever gotten in terms of points for a single item. Then again, we need to have 262,000. So that's gonna take a minute. Which means I'm gonna head back to my pressurized helium facility, because one of those items, so one of those factions actually progressed based on that, so we might as well use that. So this is going to bring the Selenium to level 10, so that is one level away from the end. And all we need now is time to do that. I mean, materials are infinite in this game, so at least that's not a consideration, which is a good thing as well, because you need to produce so much stuff. Do 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 do. So the reason I was hesitating so much before we started building is that the alternative would have been to actually run here and get the pressurized helium connected up basically and get that started. The reason I didn't do that, and that would have given us a lot of reputation while we were building the other factory. I'm kind of flipping it the other way around because the other one is more urgent and this is going to take forever anyway. We might actually want to swap this reputation farm to something else, because I think we had a secondary item as well that we could use for that. But of course, we're currently not using the pressurized helium to do anything. Speaking of which, I do think we need to bring some of the pressurized helium, I think, for one of the recipes. So let me get this started and then let's check the recipes actually. I'm happy I left these things intact. Okay, you needed some sort of other helium. But yeah, Clever Robotics actually takes in pressurized helium. Which means we are... but that's gonna take forever, okay. Let me show you with the next one. So even though we can progress, we need 262,000, and each of these things is only going to give us 10. Now at the moment I'm not using this production, so you know, might as well use it. But this would need to sit for hours. Why did I just fall down?
The Raptura is in its stable stage. The climate of Arcadia is returning to normal.
I do wish they offered this a little bit more often, that you had like 2 things that you could use. Mostly because, you know, even though it's slow, at least you're getting some progress done. Feels like you're doing something, especially while you're exploring. So we have 470 out of 262,000. But you know, we're going to be building for a while, so... let me check the recipe. So let's build a bit of a hub. A tiny little hidey hole. Let's build a door. And then let's build a recipe station. Yeah, see, we need to put in some pressurized helium for this one. Does any of the other ones need that? Nope. You need turbines and valves to get the pump up and running. Let me grab some more pressurized helium.
I can use this.
There we go. Actually didn't check how much I needed. It wasn't that much, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's done. We have some progression set up now. In order to get liquid helium, we would need hardening agents. But again, let's check what the next thing is that we're going to be building. Okay, so we are already at 29,000, so this is actually doing something. This one is progressing. These two are not. But I think we need valves anyway. I think valves are pretty straightforward to make, based on what we already have available. So let's check the press again. Valves need what? Nozzles, so we have those in production already. Titanium housing, which we might need to produce more of, but we'll get to that in a moment. Oh. Titanium rods. Well, that is all pretty straightforward, but the only downside being that we need more titanium rods. I might actually set up another titanium rod facility right over here. Just because we can. Well, maybe we can actually make both the titanium rods and the titanium housing over here. Just to make sure that we're not relying on the other production we have back at the other base, because that's going to slow down to a trickle if we're using titanium in like 15 different places there from the same supply source. But I'm actually not using most of this over here. And look, I actually have a facility making basic building materials, although I don't think that's our main consideration right now. Okay. Is this powered separately? I don't know. But I probably need to move my base a bit, because that is going to get in the way of... Yeah. Okay. Hydration low. Well, that's why we have all of these on us. Well, let's eat up. There we go. Am I gonna remove that? I think I am. So let me check what I have in my storage here though before I do that. Nothing of too much interest, to be honest. Okay. Apparently we have a window flying in the middle of nowhere. Let's take that out. If I run out of building materials, I'll just go back. Okay. Is this still working? Just double checking. Yes, this is still working. So, sure. And we are going to be building over here. And let's double check the excavator speeds here. We have 5 of them, so that is actually quite a bit. Oh. Didn't know that actually already placed it. Okay. So we have 5 of these things here. Let's check the speed on these. This is just 1 per second. Or 2 per 2 seconds, but that comes down to the same thing. Oh, this is 4 per second actually. This is a full belt. Okay. So this is 2. And this is 2 per second. Okay. So this is almost 2 full belts right here. This is 2 per second. That's half a belt. And this is 1 per second. Okay, so 3 smelters here, 3 smelters on those belts, and then 4 smelters on the other belt. That's a lot of titanium rods and casing production. And then we have the nozzles to go along with that. And that should make the valves. Just thinking a little bit on how we're going to do that layout, so... That's not gonna work. Is it? Oh, because I can't fit in the other thing. Okay. Hold on. Okay. And let's connect all of this up. Let's see how fast we can build this. This shouldn't take too long, right? Where's the secondary one? So that's one is over there. So if I can get this to connect, something like that. This is starting to look like it's gonna work. Okay. Let me double check the recipe actually on the Mega Press. So let's build that over there. Valves need most... Oh, actually we need titanium beams as well. Oh. Okay. Okay, we need titanium beams as well, I guess. So we need mostly titanium beams, then titanium rods, then titanium housing. Now I actually need to double check what I need for all of that. Hold on. It's the fabricator, or I think we need both fabricator furnaces. Oh man. Yeah, so this... Oh, we need even more titanium beams to make titanium housing. We need titanium sheets as well. Whoa. Okay. And then how do we make titanium beams again? That's in the fabricator then, I suppose. So we need sheets, titanium beams, and rods. All of these things. We need a whole bunch of the titanium beam production. These two are... We actually don't need that many titanium sheets, so that's fine. Oh, but we need a whole bunch of the titanium beams to be produced. Okay. Okay. So, here's the plan. We're going to make the sheets here. Assuming my game doesn't crash during the autosave. There we go. I mean, this is just a 1-to-1, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, this is 1 per second. And you're going to make those. You're going to make those. You are going to make those. You're going to make sheets. And you are also going to make sheets. All the sheets. Okay. Let's make a storage depot in between as well. Mostly just to buffer. So it's a little easier to tell how things are working. We're going to need power. We might as well just power this up right now. So, that's gonna start working. Let's be a little bit conservative on how much power actually. This is enough, this is enough. Titanium sheets, titanium sheets, titanium sheets. I could probably do this to ratio, but we can actually figure this out as we're building this. I'm gonna need 3 more of these smelters. Smelters. From these 2 lines. Am I... yeah. I was about to ask, am I going to be neat and orderly? But who are we kidding? I'm always neat and orderly. Would it be slightly faster to not be neat and orderly? Probably. That's just not me though. Okay. This is where the resources are going to come in. Now, this was 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Connecting, connecting. Don't think I actually connected the last one. There we go. Titanium bar, titanium bar, titanium bar. And we were going to make rods here from the fabricator. And I'll build 3 to start with, but I think we need to double those up, right? Because these are only going to be producing 1 per 2 seconds. Yes, so we can make 6 of these. Oh, that's not the recipe I wanted, that one. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Delete, please. Yes. We need some space in between. There we go, there we go, and 4, 5, 6. Let's make sure we have some connections going as well. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. There we go. Am I gonna buffer them here as well? Sure. Hold on. I'm not sure I like this yet, but it's worth trying out. It's a good way to spend more power and building materials at least. Yeah, this was probably overkill. It is a very nice way of making sure that you maximize the amount of production you get going though. Okay, I need to get out of here. There we go. Rods. More rods. Rods. More rods. And so on. I really wish you could make a copy-paste of the recipe, as that would make this easier. That said, not really the biggest problem though. Okay. Okay, we have all of that coming in. So we have rods now in production. We have sheets in production. Now we need housing and beams. And we needed a lot of beams. And if I remember correctly, beams were just made. You can check it over here. Yeah, just straight up from the titanium thingies. Which I suppose is where the last one comes in. Because we can have... let's see. We can have 4 of them. So we could do it like this. This would be the smelters. Let me get my player character out of the way. So this is where the beams are going to be. We are now too low on power, so let's fix that. It's amazing how much you can power on a single windmill, to be honest. Okay. That is now back up and running. And let's make sure we get that rail down here somehow. I'm actually surprised that worked the first time around. Okay, let's see. Let's connect this up. Let's connect that up. This is going to be a pretty big beam factory. Did I just build tier 2? Yeah. Well, let's not... No? That wasn't tier 2 once? Oh, they just have a different color. Okay. Because they haven't been assigned a recipe yet. I guess that's why. Okay. Actually, hold on. We're not gonna use these bars to stack up. That's not really worth it. We are going to be making bars though, and then we're going to be turning those bars into beams. And in order to do that, we're going to need a whole bunch of that stuff. So let's make sure we have a connector up in here. This should fill exactly a full belt. And then we need what? A furnace, I think, right? Let me see. Furnace for... no. Apparently not. It's just a fabricator. And we need those for the beams. One every 3 seconds. So that means we need 9 of them? No, 12. We want to make use of all of the production, which we do. I mean, okay. So this is input and output. This is 8. I could fit in 2 more lines. Either that or... yeah, actually let's do that. I'm not sure the other buildings are going to fit. The alternative was to kind of place the other buildings like in a line over here, but I don't think that's going to fit. So this might be a fairly efficient way of making use of the space we have available. Okay. And we can place this line down a little lower, because this is actually going to connect the input lines up. And then down, and then here, and then up, and then there, and then there. And then there. Oh man, this is so much. Let's set up some storage over here. I'm actually starting to wonder, did I double check the recipe here? So this is making the titanium bars, that's not what I wanted to see. So the beams. Oh, it is 1-to-1, okay, so in that case I think I'm doing it correctly. More beams. Nope, nope. I got lucky there. The resources were coming in. It was for the wrong recipe, but resources could still go into the machine because the other recipe was also going to use the same resources. No belts were cluttered in the process. Okay. Okay, titanium beams. Titanium beams. Titanium beams. We are speed building, hopefully. Speed building while still keeping things somewhat neat. There we go. More titanium beams, more titanium. I think I've got the overall ratios. Well, so far all the ratios have been perfect. I'm sure about that. I think that for the end goal that we have in mind, we also have the ratios pretty slick. Okay. This is all connected up. Let's make sure that even though I'm trying to speed things up a little bit, I'm not skipping anything, because that would, and hopefully let's not make too many of those mistakes either, because that is just going to slow things down. But yeah, we do need to make sure we connect the machines up correctly. Click. There we go. Slowing things down and actually speeding things up a little bit as a result of that. So let's zoom in a bit further, just to make sure I snap to the correct in and output ports. Okay, there we go. This is going to go in there. Then this is going to connect to this one to this one, this one to this one, and this one to this one. And then that output is going to go in there. So was that all the in and output ports? I think so, right? Look at all the beams. Okay, yeah, well, the beams are flowing in. We have beams flowing in here as well. So that is awesome. We have sheets, we have beams, we have... Okay, so now we need the plates. The housing, I mean. Just double checking the recipe. So... Okay, the housing is not in here. Hold on. A furnace, I guess. Yeah. Beams and sheets. This is the only place we're using these. So let me double check the other machine as well. I'm not too fussed about getting this completely to ratio, but let's be close at least. We're making valves. So we need a whole bunch of... Oh, this is 1 per 10 seconds? I'm gonna need a huge amount of these mega presses. Okay. So the interesting thing is actually that this is going to take in 6 items per 10 seconds. So I could fit almost 8 of this on a single belt and still supply everything optimally. I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying I don't actually need to have 4 different belts supplying all the different materials. We could just have 2 belts, for example, and that would be just fine. That's actually that is actually really interesting, because what we can do is make sure that we always use an overflow of materials, because we are using the house and the beams and the titanium rods. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm sold. So how slow is this recipe? It's okay. So I am producing a full belt of titanium, so I could make 8 of these. Okay. Just doing some math. Okay. Hold on. So we need beams. We have beams coming in there. Yeah, let's just make sure that we utilize the beam production. And then we need to bring in the sheets as well. Let's lower this. And let's lower this. And then the furnace. There we go, there we go, there we go. 6, right? I'm gonna go and get in the way again. Yeah. And I just ran out of power. That's probably... Actually, it doesn't matter. Should be fine. Okay. Beams and sheets. So we are making housing here. Housing. 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 So the interesting thing is I'm almost making the raw materials for the valve production from scratch now. Well, not the nozzles, to be fair. And the nozzles are pretty high tech as well. Okay. So. This is beams. Let's fly down so we can see what we're doing. So the beams are flat, getting into the housing production over there. That's good. Okay. So those are all the beams incoming. Now we need to go and grab the sheets. Okay. So I was making the sheets over there. So if I do it like this. We should be able to get the sheets in there in a very neat and orderly manner. And that connects to that one, and that connects all the way to that one. That connects to that one. For a factory that was kind of built at the whim, I think this looks pretty neat. There we go. And yeah, the sheets are already coming in. You can see the resources coming in, which means that there is an actual destination for those resources. So I connected this up correctly. That's good. Always nice to double check. Okay, so that means we are now producing housing over here as well. This is going to be housing. This as well. A little sad that this doesn't align with everything else, but not going to move the entire factory to align that. Looking pretty neat and organized, I would say. And then we need to import the nozzles, and let's see, then we need a whole bunch of stuff actually. Okay, so we need the housing, the rods, and the beams. We can bring the beams out from here. This could actually be pretty neat.
Wonderful. Selenian thanks you for the shipment. You've been named Convict of the Month. Upon your return to Earth, you will receive a certificate and a commemorative mug.
Yay! Convict of the Month, really? Why is this not connecting? What did I do wrong? Well, first of all, it's not aligned, so that's one thing I did wrong. Oh, but this one isn't aligned either. That explains it. Okay. I'll leave that as it is. It's just gonna mess up too much, and I really don't want to mess with that now. Let's just lower that too. I can delete that one and make it nice and flush though. I kind of want to have that one higher than that. So, can we connect this up? Yes, we can. Okay, great. Okay, so that's gonna be the beams. So the overflowing beam production is gonna go in there. We already have the titanium housing. So that's beams and housing. Then I only need to bring in the rods, which I am producing here, right? Yes. Oh, hold on. Wrong button.
I'm detecting increased Ruptura activity. Prepare for a wave.
Okay, we're gonna get another wave. Fine. Did you have to interrupt all my building for that? Now I can't use my drone anymore. Because reasons. Okay. Oh man, it's so much more annoying to build like this. Okay, let's just go and hide in here because we are going to get bombarded any moment now. Let's make a bit of a viewport so we can actually see what we're doing. Because that sun is going to explode in our face in a second. Wave warning in 15 seconds. Well, technically I should have said probably like 20 or 25 seconds because it's just the countdown starts at 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unless the autosave
Rupture's eruption
interrupts.
has started. Prepare for impact.
I was actually puzzled there for a moment. I was like, I'm not that bad at counting, am I?
Extreme temperature detected.
My poor base. I was wondering if I could start building straight away, but apparently not. Just send my drone out there into the abyss, into the fire. That would have been too easy, I guess. You just need to wait a moment for the fire to cool down, and then we can start moving again. And finally get the valve production up and running. Going once, going twice. Yeah, there we go. Like, as soon as you see the color changing,
Planetary temperature
we can
returning
start
to normal.
opening up. Okay, so cool down this thing for a moment so we can actually attach something to it. And then we need to start exporting this. Okay. Okay. You are too far away, so let's get closer then. Let's connect that up a little bit more organized. There we go. Okay. That's a lot of input ports, but we're going to need all of them. Actually, let me double check if the size of this thing is not gonna mess things up for me. Yeah, it is. So, good thing I double checked that then. See if we can build a wind turbine from all the way over here. Looks like we can. There we go. Okay. Let me sort out this mess. So this looks sort of organized. So if I just delete these two. There. Hey, Catherine. Yeah, it's going pretty well, actually. Sorry if I missed your message earlier. Kind of locked in on building this factory here. Currently working my way until through some of the endgame material. Cleared out the entire map. Well, maybe not the entire map, but most of it, including the recipes that we needed all the way from the base up top there. We found a locked door over here, which we haven't opened yet. I think I covered most of the map now, though. I think I have all the blueprints that are available in the game as well. Now I actually need to get this factory to work. So, let's see. We need an importer. Cargo receiver, I should say. And this is going to connect up to that. And then I think we have all the things we need. Oh, this is not aligned. Can't have that. There we go. Okay, so this is going to get in the nozzles. Now I wish there was a way I could actually already connect that up. Sadly, that is not how things work. Looks a bit wonky from the side, but valves is what we're making here. Oh. Should see resources coming in, right? Yeah, we already have. There we go. It was weird there for a moment. I was like, what did I do wrong? But yeah, we have all the resources except for the nozzles coming in. More valves. These things are going to produce at an extremely low rate. So I might have to build some more of these in a second. Well, let's make sure these are working first. Something like that. And then, of course, we need some storage. Okay, hold on. Moving that back a little bit so I can align things more. Might have to place down some more mega presses in a second, but yeah, like I said, let's make sure we get these running first. So we are actually making progress again. Oh, that is not where that was supposed to connect. Okay. That connects to that, that connects to that, and that connects to that. And that connects to the other one. I don't think I clicked there in time. A valve, more valves. More valves, and more valves. Okay. Why don't you have any housing? That is strange. Ah, okay, because it's... Because some of the housing is actually flowing in there. That is definitely the downside of doubling up on that. Okay, I can just set this to low.
Necesito agua.
That should fix that problem.
I
just
think
grab
I
the
can use
housing we
this.
already have. Yeah, we just throw that in here. Let's sort our inventory a little bit, so we can actually see what we're doing. Are these nozzles? These are. Sure where I got them, but... There we go. Okay, so let's run back to the other base and set the nozzle dispatcher. And then we are officially producing valves.
I'm getting better at
Raptura
this.
status stable. Arcadia status stable.
Congratulations. Look at my awesome facility. That doesn't quite have enough chemical production, but okay. We'll need to deal with that at some point. Nozzles. We're making nozzles over there. And we are trying to export them here, right? Oh. We are actually over the threshold. A little bit confusing sometimes to tell whether or not you're over the threshold, but okay. Hello? Why can't I go up the stairs? Okay, that's a new one. There we go. Actually, this isn't the nozzles. This is the impalers. Impellers? Impellers. We're making impellers over here. More impellers. More. Nozzles. Okay. This is where we're making the nozzles.
Arcadia 7 has finished regenerating.
I actually never set up a storage for the nozzles, so let's do that now. And then we are going to set up one of the dispatchers. Like so. And apparently that is what pushed me through the threshold of my wind turbines. So yeah, let's build a few of those. Ooh, and I need to build a couple of these base core amplifiers here as well. Can we fit them under here? I mean, this is empty space anyway. Okay. Hello, autosave. There we go. And this is then going to receive those nozzles. Yeah. I see a ton of those nozzles already coming in. That's good. And then you are going to send your nozzles to the thing that is actually requesting the nozzles. There we go. And I think that's it. That should make that work. It's gonna cause a whole influx of new products here as well, because all of these belts are empty, but I think we should see those flowing in now. Yep. And once again using a lot of resources, because these are made from, let's see, these are the impellers, which are currently not producing anymore. Yeah, heat shields, stabilizers, and helium. Okay. I'm gonna do one
withering.
last. Oh, very low hydration for sure.
Necesito agua.
Let's eat up as well before you start complaining about that. There we go. Back to that base, and then we are going to, I think, double up on the valve production. Not building the entire factory again, don't worry. But I just have 4 of them now, and they are producing 1 every 10 seconds. So I'm just producing at 0.4 units per minute at the per second at the moment. That's like nothing. I'm not sure if I have the throughput to do a lot more, but I know building a couple more machines is probably not the worst thing in the world. And then we just have that going just in case. Where do I go? Here. Okay, so let's see. We need to be down there. Oh, this is a pretty decent factory. There we go. Luckily, it's fairly easy to avoid fall damage in this game. So the beams are fine. Anything, we're not getting enough titanium casing. Let's see, I do need to actually make sure I connect these up. There we go. And we are now producing some valves at least. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm actually going to need to resort to a bit of a trick there to make that work. But anyway, let's see. Let's do it on the inside. 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. Oh, that's not correct. One down, 2 down, 2, 3 down. Okay. Actually, this is easier. Okay. So I can connect this. Yeah, I could connect that up like that. That's not what I wanted to do though. Let me see. Let's make that even neater than it already was. So that should connect it like that. If I do that like this, that's gonna be in the way, I think. So let's make sure we do that on the first slot. And then we are just gonna connect everything up to a single belt over here, because I think that should be fine, considering the low throughput. Well, I know it will be fine actually, because we already did that math. Okay. I'm an idiot. I should have done that the other way around, of course. Okay, hold on. Yeah, this is only a small part of my factory. The other side is super large. But yeah, we need so many materials. Okay, let's try that again. One down, that's should be it. That's two down, that's one down. It should be like that, okay. I can leave these as they are, that should be fine, okay. Yeah, I do think this is all worth it. Well, either that or I just need to leave my PC running at some point to get all the production done. But yeah, this I think in this stage of the game this is still worth it. Okay, so that is going to connect to that, that is going to connect to that, that to that. Does the height of these things make sense anymore? Not really. Oh, especially not if I connect to the wrong belt. A rail, connector, a modulator, whatever you want to call it. I should really connect things correctly the first time around. That would save me a lot of time. Okay. I have a bit of a problem here because that is actually not going to connect up the way I want it to. This thing should still be fine. But let's see. I'll be making valves over here. Valves. Valves. And more valves. So the nozzles are already coming in. So are the... What are these? I think the rods and the beams. Now the housing. Where is the housing coming from? The housing should be coming from over here. So I actually need to inverse that. Okay, let's just build it first. I'm just gonna do it like this. It's not as pretty as it could be. But at this point we just need to get things done. Okay, honestly I might want to replace this with a splitter so we can actually split it off. There we go. It does mean we can make this look a little bit more clean. There we go. And that means I can reverse this belt. I will need to get a bit closer to remove the last piece, but if I do this, and I do this, then we have all 4 machines connected up. Which way? That way. Can I get through? Yes, I can. And delete the last little bit. Okay, so that means all we now have left to do is build ourselves a couple of orbital platforms. We just need to be a bit closer to there, so let's sneak in between. Holy spaghetti. Well, it's not that bad. Most of this is not spaghetti at all. Looks like spaghetti, but it's actually just dedicated lines moving through. This little part is definitely spaghetti. Honestly, now I've exported most of this. Fine. Hold on. Hello, autosave. Hold on. I blame you for calling me out on my spaghetti. I've been fairly low on spaghetti so far. So if I now just reverse this belt. I really shouldn't be doing this, but okay, fine. No, this needs to be a splitter thingy. Actually, it's not that bad. You can... I've made my base almost spaghetti-less so far. I mean, this is probably the worst it's been, but that's mostly because I'm a bit constrained by the terrain here. But this isn't really spaghetti. Things are not crisscrossing through each other. In fact, this is more like a bus. This area outside here. There's a little bit of spaghetti going on, but no, it's actually not that bad. It's really easy to make your spaghetti horrible in this game, though. So let's sneak that through, because we do need to connect this up. This is probably the most spaghetti my base has been. This part over here. That's mostly, again, because I ran out of space and there's a rock in the way. But yeah, I mean, it looks like spaghetti from certain angles, but if you look at it like this is just a bus. And so is this. Okay. We are now producing valves over here. And that means we need a launch platform. We need several launch platforms. We probably don't need more than 3 because of the speed this stuff is producing at. And we need to manually set those launch platforms to deliver stuff, which is a bit unfortunate. Moon energy, there we go. Why are you flying all the way up there? That is not aligned. Apparently I don't get to build you flush. To build you flush, so let's see. There we go. And how much points do we get? Only 100? Okay, so that means we need to produce 100 and... yeah. So 1160 of these valves is going to be required in order to satisfy this. Okay, that's gonna take a little while. I mean, just look at the production speed of this thing. That is going to take forever, which is exactly why I doubled up on the production over here. Okay, so 11,000? Did I miss math there? No. No, I didn't miss math, right? I mean, 10 of these are going to produce 10k, so we need 1,100 of these things. Oh man. That's gonna take a while. Luckily, we have quite a few other things to build as well. And that is going to solve our time problem. I'm not sure if that's a good way of saying that. Not really solving the problem, it's just the other problem is just even larger than the first problem. Okay. Welcome in my empty house. Let's decorate. The corporate terminal. Okay, so we are still progressing through the clever robotics. You can see we're already 60,000 in because I just decided to use the pressurized helium. We can claim the assembler, which is nice. An intermediate production building, really. Nothing about all of this feels intermediate. I think these recipes are not even on the map. I don't know where they would have to be, because I think I found everything now. I mean, assuming that we need to unlock them, actually, I don't know. That's worth checking out. Let's see. So we have a new building, the assembler. Oh, we don't actually. Oh, we do need a pressure tank blueprint. Okay. Oh man, there's 4 more blueprints. Four more blueprints, really? Okay. So, liquid helium. Oh, this needs a scanner. So the last level needs a scanner. Okay. That's a valve. Lens. And a pump. I think we can make the pump now. In theory, at least. The mega press. Yeah, so we are making turbines, right? And we're making valves, so we could be making pumps as well. The problem is I need the valves in order to progress here. So we can't use them in 2 places at the same time, is basically what I'm saying. Because in order to make pumps, I mean, this is already progressing without the pumps. So by the time this is done, this will probably be mostly done. And we can switch to pumps then. So we want to focus on either liquid helium or lenses, I guess. What do we need for the lens? Where are we making lenses, by the way? Is that in the assembler? No. Where are we making lenses? I'm confused. Am I missing it? Do you get a shiny mug if you win? No, I actually don't know what you get if you win. You can't really build upwards. You can build upwards to a point. I'll show you actually. So, in case you're not familiar with the game, so oh, that's the wrong building to take as an example. So let's try to build a smelter. So you can build upwards, but as you can see, if you go up too far, it doesn't connect with the ground. There is a way where you can build on top of another level, I think, but it's way too much work to make that work. Oh, you can hover over the lens on the terminal. Okay, let me do that in a sec. But yeah, you can't really build on top. And buildings start floating really quick. And the terrain gets in the way, so long story short, you can't really build upwards too much. I mean, you can build on different levels, like on the grounds, and just make your factory look a little bit less organized by doing that, but you can do that. Okay, that's kind of cool. So, what was I making? The lenses, that was over here. I didn't actually know that there was the pop-up over here as well. In the compounder. Oh right, that's the other building. I think that was the... Oh, so we can check that over here. The compounder. Okay, so we need synthetic resin, hardening agents. We are not producing either of those things. I think we need that hardening agent as well to unlock the liquid helium. Yeah, so basically... we need hardening agent, and then we need liquid helium, because liquid helium is always useful for the other thing, and then we need the lenses, I guess, or the, sorry, no, we need the synthetic resin first. Where do we make that? We also make that in the air. Oh, that's already unlocked by default, I guess. Okay, so then we need to make the synthetic resin. And then we can make lenses. Honestly, it feels like just the production rates at this point in the game are so low. This would take a very long time to make. Huh, that's interesting. Anyway, I guess that is sort of the plan for the next episode. I did want to check one more thing. Electronics and chemicals to make power cells. That is something we could do as well next time. And see what happens when we open that door. Anyway, I think it's almost midnight here again. So that's probably a good time to go to bed, considering I actually have to work tomorrow. But this was quite productive. I mean, we set all of this up. We did a whole bunch of exploring, got the recipes in order to be able to set this up. We actually also set up the other factory on the other side for the turbines. So yeah, pretty nice. And once again, guys, thank you for joining me. There have been over 100 people joining this stream on and off, so that's really cool. If you're still here, you are awesome, and I do hope to catch you